Hi everybody, and welcome to my Wednesday night Q&A session. Great to have you with me. I'm on the air. I'm here again, as always, every Wednesday, trying to help all the people out there in property world with their problems. All my investors out there looking to invest or already landlords, we're here to help with some information on how you can maximize your investment, how you can maximize your selling of your home, or how you can get the best purchase when you're buying a home. It's all here live on the Adam Bucket Real Estate Agent Q&A session on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. So as I said, good to have you with me. A couple of subjects we want to talk about this Wednesday. First one I want to talk about, there has been a lot of talk this week about some changes that are happening with stamp duty. It looks like the New South Wales state government are looking to amend the stamp duty charges so that they are in line with the CPI indexes. Good on you, Gabrielle. Good to have you with us here. So there's some changes coming about from the state government to do with stamp duty this week. It looks at the moment like these what should we say, savings are only going to be token savings. They're more symbols of gestures of goodwill at the moment. There's not going to be huge savings. They're saying that most, if you work off the averages at the moment, you're probably going to be saving about $500 in your stamp duty to start with. So it's not huge, but a saving's a saving, so it's all well and good. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Some legislative changes being put forward by the New South Wales state government in relation to stamp duty. Last week we talked about some of the changes that were being also made at a government level in relation to the Residential Tenancies Act. There's an amendment bill going through to provide better access for agents, but there's also a lot of changes in there about metering on your investment property, more so granny flats where you have two premises on one block of land. If you don't have the metering 100% right, they're going to be really coming down on you with that, but we'll get into that a little bit more next week. So if you've got any questions, feel free to send them through on Facebook, or you can if you want. G'day Paul Duplessis here, glad to have you aboard. So if you have any questions about your investment property, if you're a tenant that's having some trouble somewhere, if you're a landlord that's having trouble somewhere, don't forget, we feel for all your landlords and tenants out there. It's been very, very wet here in Sydney today, and I'm sure there's been a lot of issues found out with the amount of water that's been coming out. I personally had an issue with my tenant in one of my investment properties call up. Their garage was flooded, and we had to organise to get some drainage sorted for them. So a big shout out to Natasha up there in my investment property. Was very sorry to hear that the garage had flooded, but we have put some things in place with the plumbers now to get some drainage sorted out there to make sure that doesn't happen next time. But it's an interesting thing. If you're a landlord and you get wet weather like this, that's when you'll find all your leaks. That's when you'll find all your block drains. That's when you'll find your block gutters, and sometimes you'll see water running back into eaves. You'll get a lot of, and it's especially after the long period of dry weather that we've had in New South Wales, in particular over the last 2 years. There's problems that have probably been there, but no one's seen them until you get a long period of wet. So probably a good idea if you have an investment property that you haven't driven past, or that you're a bit concerned about, that there was a tree root issue in some of the drainage or the gutters, contact your property manager, get them to go out and do an inspection once it clears up, or maybe give the tenant a call and say, have they seen anything that's a little bit untoward? That's what I've been getting my team to do here at Star Partners, start calling some tenants, or if there's been issues where there has been some drainage problems in the past, to call those tenants. They've been calling today to make sure that they haven't been magnified under this extended period of wet that we've had here in Sydney today. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping. Good idea if you're a landlord to get onto that, or get your property managers to go and check it out. As I said, the guys at Star Partners have been doing that for my landlords today, and hopefully your real estate agents have been doing that for you as well. As one of the things I wanted to talk about today in our Q&A session is the issue of the market. So there's a lot of talk at the moment about the markets falling. Markets change all the time. So we are in what we call a falling market at present. I believe that this fall was probably always due to come with the amount of growth that we had over the last 3 years. There was always going to be a drop off. But one of the things I wanted to talk to investors about is, I've had this question a couple of times, is this the right time to be buying an investment property? My answer is it's always a great time to buy an investment property first up, but is this a good time? I think yes. I think that you should always be looking in a falling market to buy investment properties, because you will be able to maximize your capital gains when the market does turn around. And we know the market will turn back again. It's just a matter of time. So property should always be a long-term investment. As I've said this on numerous occasions, I don't think it's a great idea to speculate looking for a short-term gain, but I do think that it is a good time to be buying, because you just don't know when the market's going to kick again. It's very hard to predict. One of the things, g'day, Alyssa Esposito, one of our brokers that supports us here at Star Partners, Alyssa Esposito and her husband Nathan, very good brokers that have been helping us. If anyone is in need of a broker, Alyssa is online tonight, but she can also, you can contact me at the office if you need a broker, and I'm happy to put you in touch with Nathan and Alyssa. But now that we talk about the markets, another question that came to me this week was, I want to wait until we hit the bottom of the market. So basically, the market rises and falls. And if we look at this graph here now, you can see that this is what we call a trough in a marketplace. And what people are trying to see here is they want to buy the property just about here. Now, my issue with that is that it's not easy to pick the bottom of the trough. And the problem you have, if you try and speculate and get to the bottom of the trough here, that if you get it a little bit wrong, which generally not many people can pick it, but if you get it a little bit wrong, you might end up just about there. And by the time you get to there, everybody thinks the market's booming again, and you're competing with all these buyers to try and get out there and buy a house. So you have less choice and you've got more buyers who you're competing against, so you have to pay more money. So I always suggest, if you are looking to buy, it is better to buy in a falling market than trying to wait till you get to the very bottom of the trough, because by the time the layman finds out that they're at the bottom of the trough, it'll be too late and you'll be already back in the rise and the market will be heading back up again. So it's just too hard to pick. And the thing that we're seeing at the moment is there's so many great buys to be had. You've got motivated vendors who need to get their property sold prior to Christmas because they're moving interstate or they're moving somewhere else. Their jobs change. This is the time, if you're looking to buy an investment property or just to change your home, this is the time to be doing it. So I would really suggest that you don't try and predict the bottom of the trough, that you just take advantage of the great bargains that are out there at the moment. Do your homework, find the suburb that you like, find the worst house in the best street where there's a vendor who needs to sell their property, and just go for it. It's a great time to be buying a home. When we talk about markets as well, one of the other things I'm talking to a couple of people now in the marketplace is it a good time for me to be buying a home and trading? So I've got to sell my place and buy another one? And the answer to this is, I think it's clever to look at each market differently. And I think that the rising market will suit downsizes, and I think the falling market will suit upsizes. So the thing I'm trying to get across to buyers at the moment while we are in this falling market is that in a rising market, I did these, this is some homework I did earlier, in a rising market where the market's going up at 10%, it suits the downsizers because they've got the biggest asset. So a downsizer, you've got something that might be worth $1 million, but 6 months ago it was actually only worth $900,000. It's now worth $1 million. You're $100,000 in front, so you're getting a premium for your sale in a rising market. But then when you buy, you also, because you're buying into the same market, you might buy something for $550,000, which was $500,000 6 months ago. But because you're downsizing, the percentages of the money you make on your sale and the percentage over that you have to pay on your purchase are still 10%. But the volume of money makes it more viable for you to be downsizing in a rising market. So if it's a falling market, and you're sitting on an asset that's quite large and you do want to downsize, this isn't the best time to be doing it because at the moment, we're in a falling market. And the falling market, if we just use round figures of 10%, the home you're selling was worth $550,000. Now it's worth $500,000 because the market's coming down. You've lost $50,000, okay? That's there. But the property you're buying was worth $1 million, again, just using round figures, but now it's worth $900,000 because it's come back 10%. So you're in front $50,000. So this figure here is what you want to look at in both of these transactions. And if I had to say which market does the falling market suit, I would say that it's anyone who is upsizing. So I've got some clients, they're looking to sell their property in South Windsor and move to a bigger property further west, out past North Richmond. This is the ideal time to do it. And you can get some really good buys, but what you have to do is your homework. You have to go to lots of open homes. You have to talk to your agents that you're buying off, do the research, and then you can see that, you know, if you can buy the home that you're looking at that you love for $20,000 less, then maybe you can accept $20,000 less on your sale and you're still in front. So that's the beauty of looking for the opportunities in whatever market you've been given. So that's my tips for this week. The Q&A session, I've been bantering on here for about 12 and a half minutes. And I've got lots of likes here this afternoon. I've got tonight, I've got hi Felicity, good to see Felicity, Catherine Blore. As I said, Alyssa Esposito is with us tonight. She's a broker based out near Richmond. Rachel Gamble's here. The gun from our North Richmond office, Rachel Gamble, good to see you. Yeah, we've touched on most of the subjects that I've had here to speak about tonight. I don't have any questions, so it's not much of a Q&A. I've had to broach a couple of questions myself just to give you guys a little bit of content, and I hope you've been happy with the answers. But as I said, this weekend, this Saturday, we've got more open homes throughout the Hawkesbury for rentals and for our sales team. We have a good roll-up of open homes. I wanted to also mention a big shout out to our North Richmond office. They have got some absolutely, I've just met with Robbie Dunn this afternoon, and he has got some great listings out there that are really, really, like very affordable. And I think you really need to go and have a chat to Robbie and Rachel Gamble out there at our North Richmond office and go and have a look. The other good thing I wanted to mention about the North Richmond office is this: they're growing their rent roll at a really strong rate. They started with 0 managements. They're now up to about 50 managements, and they are on fire. So if you've got any questions about renting and you're out in the North Richmond, Currajong sort of area, you should be able to drop in, see Robbie and the team. I think Hannah's the property manager out there, and they would love to look after you. Good value. I agree, Rachel. It is good value. Got a comment here from Rachel that some of the properties out there in the North Richmond listings are a very good value. I've also got another comment. Can you handle a property up here at Mangrove Mountain, or at least come and give a valuation? Felicity, we'd love to help you out. We don't sell many in Mangrove Mountain, but I'm sure we can help you with an appraisal or a valuation. That won't be a problem. And I think that we should be able to sort you out very easily with an opinion and a market appraisal on your property in Mangrove Mountain. So there you go. It shows you that we're not restricted to just the hills and the Hawkesbury. We've got people watching us from all over New South Wales, and it doesn't matter where you're from. I'm always happy to answer your questions and give you some feedback if you have some situations that you need some assistance with. That's what this is for, the Q&A session. I'm going to contact Felicity after this, and we'll organise together an appraisal up there. I'm assuming it's a rental appraisal and a sales appraisal. We'll be able to sort that out quick, smart for you on over the next coming days. So if there's no more questions, it's going to be over and out for me tonight. Well, don't forget, I've got my sales wrap or my market wrap on Saturday afternoon, which is both sales and rentals. We'll go through a rundown on how all the open homes have been going for our rental properties and our sale properties. Just a quick note, our Windsor office, the Star Partners office here at Windsor, last week we carried out 48 rental inspections and generated 13 applications for our rental properties here at South Windsor. So the property rental market seems to be kicking along quite well all the way up to Christmas, and it's going very, very well. We do have plenty of tenants out there looking for rental properties, so it's a great time to buy a rental property. That's my final advice. It's a great time to buy a rental property. There's plenty of tenants out there. The prices are cheap. Never been a better time to do it. Hope to see you at the open homes on Saturday, and stand by for my market wrap on Saturday afternoon. That's over and out from me.